How Did We Get Here? Starring Mouse and Creep. Episode 11. If I beat this ginger zombie with the Zeller's bat, can I have all your peanuts?
There's a lot of bullshit that's been getting posted on here lately.
I don't care. It's Facebook. Who cares? So yeah, last night I heard a fucking noise in my hallway, and like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, it's loud bang. And I go out there. I just look through the fucking peephole.
Because we had a different start originally than this.
Yeah, but
We'll get into that.
But yeah, I look through the fucking peephole, and there's a guy with a dolly, like with a big box on it. I was like, okay, well he's moving stuff. Someone got evicted down that way, I guess it was.
Is that the one you were talking about? The woman who was freaking out?
Yeah, and I guess they're moving the rest of her stuff. And I'm looking through the peephole at this guy, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, so he gets on the dolly, like he has the dolly up, he puts the box on it, and then I hear beep beep. What the hell was that? And I look, and he stands on a hoverboard and hoverboards down the alley or down the hallway, holding the dolly. And I can't deal with this right now. I just fell on the ground, and my girlfriend's like, "What's going on?" She went, opened the door, and looked outside, and then she closed it. That's some high levels of what the fuck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mouse,
and I'm Creep,
and this will be our last podcast for the year. Yeah. This is How Do We Get Here? A podcast about nothing that goes nowhere
and never will.
We were gonna start with a blood story. What was the blood story you were gonna start us off with? Right, the blood and vomit.
Well, it wasn't about vomit. Well, I almost vomited. Okay, so
that's not what we were talking about.
We were talking about blood.
We were talking about fake blood.
Because
I at least had something. I at least said something I could play off of when it came to that.
It's a story I've never told you, but I wanted to talk about eventually. So it was a movie I was in.
Okay.
It's an awful movie. I don't even know how you find it now. It's called Nest of Angels or something of Angels.
That sounds pretty shit.
It's a zombie movie.
Ooh.
So my friend's sister was in the movie industry, and she called us, and it was like, I think about like 6 o'clock at night. And she goes, "Hey, we really need extras. Would you guys want to be in a zombie movie?" And at the time, I think I was 18. Like, there's nothing more that I'd want to do tonight.
Yeah.
And so I show up, and I walk in, and since I had my lime green mohawk at the time, and my friend Brian had his, I think his was pink.
He had a pink mohawk?
Pink, purple, blue. So yeah, he had this bright pink, purple, blue, and like teal mohawk. Ridiculous looking. And so we get there. I have a green mohawk. He has this fluorescent color mohawk. And so the director of the movie goes, "You're the two main zombies." I just, what? And he goes, "Yeah, for this scene, you're the two main zombies because you look like punks." And that's what I want. It's like, oh, awesome. So we go to the makeup lady, and our other friend and his wife came. I don't know if they were married at that time. But anyway, they came. They got like a little bit of blood splattered on them. I got a whole face prosthetic done.
Okay.
It took like an hour and a half. This woman did a great job, but it was like my whole face. It looked like I was riding a motorcycle like 200 kilometers an hour, and then just like, I wonder what happens when my face hits the ground, like that. Like it just scraped all off and it was destroyed. And Brian had like an axe wound in his neck and all this blood all over his face. So we looked pretty vicious. And so we get to the scene where we're in a church. That's where we're filming. And there's like the lead survivor he's supposed to be like the tough guy. He was not tough guy. And so he has a prop gun. It was made of metal, but it was a prop gun. And we filmed it like the couple trials before you do like the first shoot before they turn the cameras on, because I guess they couldn't afford a lot of film.
Yeah.
And he's swatting at me because I'm the first one in the pack because I have the most prosthetic.
Can you run, or are you a stumbler?
A stumbler.
Ugh.
I know, right? But I'm like walking through the church and I'm coming at him and I'm all crippled looking. And he's swatting at me, but it's like this most lackadaisical, like, please no zombie. So I was like, no, dude, just fucking hit me. And he's like, what? I'm like, just hit me like I'm actually trying to kill you. It'll sell it. I don't care if I get a little hurt. I'm 18. I'm indestructible. So he's like, are you serious? I'm like, just wail at me with the pistol like I'm legitimately here to kill your family and they're behind you. And he's like, okay, I can do that. So we go back outside of the church and we're all setting up. They're setting up inside the cameras and the lighting and shit. And the woman who did my prosthetics walks up with, I'd say, like a cup and a half of blood.
Okay.
Like quite a bit of blood. And she hands it to me and she goes, so you're going to put this in your mouth and when you get in there, you're going to spit it up. Like when you get shot for the first time. Okay. There's no squibs, which are the things that explode out of your shirt and shoot blood. But it's just like they're going to CG that and it's just gonna be like you're going to vomit blood. So she hands me this big fucking glass. And I just got that instruction. You're going to put this in your mouth. So I put it in my mouth and I fill my mouth till there's like, I don't know, maybe like a milliliter left in this cup. And she turns back and goes, what did you do? And she's like, that's for everybody. And it tastes like mint, which I don't like mint. But I have all this blood in my mouth. And she goes, we're not going in there for 20 minutes. Oh, God. So I'm sitting there with like my
saliva
mouth
and blood.
Yeah, my mouth just full of this fake blood, trying not to throw up because it's now like my mouth is full and it's making me start to gag. And I'm getting like, oh God, it's like mixing with my saliva and shit. So then we get to the part where he's like, okay, go. And I walk in and he goes, bang, and he shoots. And just, and this catastrophic amount of blood just shoots out all over my shirt. And then I go like, oh God, that was gross. But it's like,
you're in the middle of the scene, you can't fuck up.
I sold it, so I was trying to like not throw up, but since that heaving like made me look creepier. And then I go up to like grab him and he hits me. But he hits me like the corner of the gun, not like his hand on my hand. And I'm just like, and just like I'm still walking at him, and he hits me in the other hand, and he hit me so hard in the hand it cut open a huge chunk of my hand. Ooh. And I was like, dedicate because I want to be in movies one day. I got rid of that dream a little after that, but I'm just walking, like, still, like, doing that, and then they go, cut, and he goes, the director's like, that was friggin' awesome, I'm like, thank you, and he's like, that was a lot more blood than I thought was gonna come out, but that really was terrifying, and, like, just, like, the way he hit you, it looked really convincing, like, because this isn't prop blood.
Are there first aid attendants on site?
It's like, that wasn't prop blood, and he looked at my hand, he's like, oh God, and he's like, Jeff, and the first aid guy comes in and goes, wait, that's not fake blood on his hand. I'm like, oh, this hurts. Oh God, I hate you. And the guy's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. This is probably the most convincing scene in this awful movie. And then we remember because like we eventually got a copy of it. I don't know where it is now, but yeah, we watched it and like, yeah, that was the best scene in that movie because it's like every other zombie in that movie, because like it was other people in different locations, was all fucking awful. Like, people, like, straight out of, like, Fun Day at fucking Playland. Like, awful people. It's a fun night, though.
The only reason
and it was also really fun because we went to Denny's after, and we didn't clean up. So it was
Did they pay?
What?
Did they pay?
No. No. It was all, like, the group of us who went, and then a couple other people, and, like, these guys, because we were funny. So they were laughing at our jokes because we spent like an hour making jokes about like I like my women like I like this.
Oh, okay.
I like my women like I like my White Castle cheeseburgers small and square. Like jokes that don't make any sense.
What was it? I like my women. It was I like my women like I like my. What was it? What's another word for? It's whiskey. Yeah, rye is whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like my women like I like my whiskey, aged 9 years and full of Coke.
The other one is I like my women like I like my coffee ground up and put in the freezer. Yeah, we're doing that and we go into Denny's and the waitress is like, oh, nope.
I like my women. I like my women like I like my coffee black.
So all these zombies walk into Denny's, and she's like, I'm on break. Just some other woman.
The only reason I kind of wanted this story to be told at the beginning was because I really had nothing to go off of as far as like my own kind of shit until you said fake blood. I was part of, when it first opened, the very first year, I was part of the Cloverdale Produce Farms haunted house.
I actually have another haunted house story, but keep going.
Sick. I actually went in there for the first time before the damn thing even opened, and it was a horrific experience from start to finish. It was my very first job ever, and it was just for Halloween. Not
How old
Halloween
were
the
you?
day. I was in grade 9, so I was 15, I think.
Weird.
14 or 15, something like that. I
Were
can't
you
remember how
legally
old
allowed to work at that time?
I'm pretty sure that I was, but it was just a seasonal Halloween thing. Like I wasn't like I didn't have a shovel or anything.
Okay.
But my responsibility was to be this old man, all right, who was dead on a table. Now the owner of the establishment who was running the thing wanted me to do other shit like moan and follow after them and shit like that, but it just didn't make sense to me. I'm dead. The whole point, because my wife would be in the next room and she'd come over and she'd like, Pa, you want something for dinner, Pa? And I would just kind of like lay there and like my arm would fall off of it. But I had a full face prosthetic of an old man. So it covered like my forehead and my eyes and my cheeks and my nose up to my upper lip. And then I wore one on my bottom lip.
Did it look like shit?
I looked like shit, but I dressed the part.
Okay. Like Colonel Sanders.
And it was weird because like at the end of the night, like I look at myself in the mirror and I can't remember what I look like underneath the prosthetics because I've been wearing them for so long and I haven't seen myself in a little while. And it was all with spirit gum.
Yeah,
so
that shit's not fun.
No, and I would get it like caught like right at the tip of my hairline, and so I'd have to cut my hair because the spirit gum would get inside of it. So just the front though. And so when I would go get a haircut, they'd go, "What the hell is with yours?" Oh, because spirit goes, "Yeah, I can tell." And but I'm laying there, and the thing that I remember was that in the next room to us, so as soon as you walk in the haunted house, you turn a corner, and I'm dead on the table, and my wife is in the kitchen behind me. Okay. And then you go through the kitchen into the, and then turn right, and then that was the bathroom. And in the bathroom, there was a head sticking out of a bathtub along with a leg, and in the bathtub was fake blood.
Okay.
A bathtub full of fake blood.
Why wouldn't you just like fill it like 75% of the way with cement and then just put blood in it so you'd use less blood?
I don't know, maybe you want to move a bathtub afterward and don't want to have to move that much
Just
cement.
put foam or something.
Well, whatever the reason that they did
It seems like a dumb way. Anyway.
There was a lot of fake blood. But I will never, ever fucking forget the smell of it.
Yeah.
Like
was it fake blood or pig's blood?
It was fake blood.
Yeah, that shit's awful.
And thinking about it now, I can still smell it behind my eyes. Like I can still smell the container that it was shipped in.
Yeah.
But like this stuff would be rolling in its tub all night long. So the haunted house opened from like 4 to 10.
Yeah.
So 6 hours work. And I got to tell you that when a 13, 14, however the fuck old I was, gets his very first paycheck, boy howdy does it feel good to walk away with $250.
Yeah.
It felt fantastic. I went out.
Especially for doing basically nothing.
Just laying on a table for 6 hours.
I gotta do that.
And it was interesting because, like, okay, when we first started off the haunted house, there was a concession stand out by the corn maze. So there was the corn maze, concession stand, haunted house.
Okay.
And some people would go through the corn maze, go to the concession stand, then go to the haunted house, and then leave when they were done. And the only reason I was actually playing the old man is because they had a dummy for the old man who had been lost in transportation in shipping. They'd lost the old
it's
man.
Like the
body.
idea of it's like it got shipped to like a flower store.
It was a full body,
and they opened the thing. And just,
there's this fucking skeleton inside. But they lost it, and so I had the part. And so like when the part arrived, they were considering firing me because the person who owned the place didn't like the job that I was doing, even though I scared the shit out of a bunch of people.
Okay.
She didn't really like me as a person. Mainly because I had complained about one of her farmhands who basically threatened to beat the shit out of me.
Oh.
And,
yeah, that's a reasonable thing to be.
Yeah,
mad
I'm
about.
being paid less. I'm being paid $6.50 an hour. And you expect me to just take shit? Fuck you. But when I was done the old man job, I then got moved. When you went through the bathroom, you went into this blacklight room. That was basically just this paint had been splattered all over the place. But
every haunted house has that.
But they had me who had this full body like cloak on with a hood, and it was covered in black paint. And you would like hide in the corner and curl up real tight into the corner, and people wouldn't be able to see you because you matched the background so well. And so when they came in and looked around, you'd like turn around and follow up behind them, and you'd like clear your throat or make like a noise, and they'd turn around, fuck, and they'd run into the next room. And that was the second room, and after that it was this room where like they had this puppet old man dummy, like old Slappy from Goosebumps.
Is that his name?
Slappy, yeah.
I don't think it is, but anyway.
What do you think his name is?
I don't think his name's Slappy, but
I'm almost willing to put money on his name is Slappy.
All right.
But he was in that room and he'd be like, "Children, I see children. They should all be locked up." And when you were done with that, then you went into the black maze. And the black maze was just like a pitch black maze with very little light. People would use like their cell phones to move around. Yeah. And one guy would have a clown mask on in the corner. And when they came around the corner, you'd go, "Ah!"
Of course he did, because he's an asshole.
Yeah, that's what I did when they took me out of the dark room. But it was really interesting that right at the beginning of this haunted house, we were allowed whatever from the concession stand we wanted. The problem is that you've got like 9 people going down to this concession stand and all ordering like $50 worth of stuff.
Yeah. And
so eventually it came down to you were allowed one thing a night.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah. And so on one of the nights, there was like a 15-minute break at like 7 o'clock, 7 to 7:15, something like that.
It's a dumb time to have a break, but go on.
But it's like 7 to 7:15 we would have a break. And the haunted house would be shut down for those 15 minutes. It means 15 minutes. Who gives a shit? But it would be shut down for those 15 minutes. And in those 15 minutes, we would all kind of like just like hang out front. One time I went out front and everyone was smoking weed and doing shrooms. I'm not kidding.
That's not a good thing to do when you're in a horror place.
There are these like 14-year-old girls who like open up their jacket and pull out a bag of shrooms and just passing them around. And
really?
while everyone is getting high on these shrooms, then they all, because shrooms apparently taste really fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
They would then drink like that those Starbucks coffee drinks. That was one of the things you could get at the concession stand. And so they'd pop like 2 or 3 of these mushrooms into their mouth.
Yeah, nothing is better than tripping balls at a haunted house.
When you're part of the haunted house.
Like the idea of like you come out and you're like, boo, and like, you're like, fuck!
You scream off of their scream.
Yeah. But no, I worked at Fright Night. For you people who don't know that.
For the P&E?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like our biggest, in where we live, the biggest haunted house. It's part of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Carnival?
Fair.
Fair.
It's a fair.
Yeah. There's a lot of rides.
City
and shit
fair.
There. It's a nice place. But yeah, they do.
The P&E actually has nothing to do at all with Playland.
Yeah,
it's 2 separate things. Yeah.
But they have a thing called Fright Night where it's all these people who.
Was I right? Is it Slappy?
No, I can't fucking load anything on this phone. My phone fucking sucks. But yeah, so they at the time, this is like, I don't know, 10 years ago, where they kind of encouraged us to like make your own character, right? So I did it with my friend Angie at the time, and she was like a doll.
Okay.
Where she dressed like a doll and had the marks and everything, and she would run at people. That was her thing. And since...
Slappy.
Oh, fuck. And since I was really tall, they dressed me and looked kind of like... What's the fucking guy from Rocky Horror Picture Show with the blonde hair? The really tall guy.
Rocky.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Wait, the blonde? You're not talking about Dr. Frankenfurter.
No, like the bald spot.
What? From Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah, he's got a bald spot. The tall guy. Whatever. Anyway, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I'm thinking of a different movie. Anyway, yeah. So I just pretty much look like a creepy monster guy.
Okay.
And so I got to the point where like I don't want to chase people around. So my thing was I would just stand there. And
I'm
like,
pretty sure it's Rocky, yeah.
Look like I was dead, and I would wait for people to like bunch up and talk about what they were going to do next. And then I would just really quietly walk and just stand behind them and be part of the conversation and not say anything dead-faced. And then they'd turn, fuck! That was my thing. Like, I would just wait for, because there's always the group of people like, oh, what do you want to do next? Do you want to do the haunted house? And then like they'd turn and I'd be there like, oh God. Just walk away. And I go find the next group of people.
Social anxiety.
So this is the maddest I had ever been was doing this.
Okay.
Where I was that and I came up to a group of people and there was a guy on his phone not paying attention, like texting or whatever. And I like got up really close to them and just stood there. And these 3 girls and 2 guys, and the 3 girls and the other guy, all notice me and all like laugh and giggle and are scared. And then as like I turn my head, the guy notices me then. After everyone's already gone like scared, like he should have looked up. He went, and punched me square in the fucking head.
Wow.
Like full throttle. And I just went, like, I can't swear. I can't hit him back. I can't strangle him. I can't go, hey, everybody, and have all the other carnies come kick the shit out of him. Like we should have done.
One of us. One of us.
But yeah, it's just like, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do in this moment except for accept the punch and just walk away. Because I needed the money. So just... I've never been so mad. And as soon as
the desire to lash out,
and as soon as my shift is over, I walked the grounds. Like I took off the clothes and put on my normal clothes. I'm like, I have to walk around. I have to see if this guy's still here. I need to at least talk to him and like de-escalate my own way. Like, why did you do that? You came to a horror show. You came here to get scared. Why was your first gut reaction to punch people? Not, I don't need to punch anyone. It's not real. Like, fucking asshole.
Yeah, that would piss me off.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I've never been a fan of haunted houses. I've never been to one that I've been scared, and the ones that are scary are always like $50 to go in, and it's not worth that for me.
I don't think they're ever scary, because I know how props are made and how special effects are done, so I'm never afraid. The only time I try to lose myself in movies and stuff when there's that stuff, but there's always the time where it's like, I notice something and that bugs me. Like, I know, I like, oh, that's how that's done. And that's ruined some movies for me. Where, like, I can't watch the rest of this. I know how that special effect was done. It's ruined. It's gone. So, just one of those things. I wish it wasn't. Same thing with, like, when you go to, like, watch a sci-fi movie, and, you know me, I have a lot of Nerf guns, and I've been collecting Nerf guns and playing with them for a very long time.
And you say that's a Nerf gun?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's a Nerf gun painted. I'm like, oh, that's ruined. That just ruined it. That ruined this guy's roguish mystique because he's using a toy gun.
Well, that bothers me because of my voice acting background. Like when I'm playing a game or watching a movie and I'm listening to it, I'm going, that was absolute fucking garbage. But like I was watching or hey, that was really, really impressive. Yeah. Like when I was watching I didn't want to, but I had to be there. I had to be downstairs. I had to be present. It was Christmas Eve, and the Polar Express was on.
And is that one with Tom Hanks?
It's the one with Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks.
What?
Tom Hanks plays the narrator, Santa Claus, the conductor, the ghost on the train, and the father.
They really wanted to like cash in on Tom Hanks and save some money, huh?
I can't imagine... Because I don't know whether or not Tom Hanks for this movie got paid. I get paid based on line. I get paid per line.
He probably just got paid per line.
I don't know what he got paid. But
we'll find it one day.
Yeah, but he got
If I ever meet him, I'll ask.
He wasn't the main character to the movie, but I'm sitting there listening to it and I go, okay, the narrator is Tom Hanks. The narrator is the conductor. The conductor is also Tom Hanks. Okay, fine.
Oh, like he's just doing Tom Hanks?
No, he's not doing Tom Hanks. The conductor and the narrator are Tom Hanks. And the ghost is kind of Tom Hanks from Moneyball, Money Shot, Money Grab. There's one of Tom Hanks's movies.
Another guy.
It was the movie where he had that laugh after they poured the water in the bathtub and the bathtub falls through the floor and shatters, and he does that
like a
laugh.
Tuscan Raider.
Yeah. It was a great laugh that he did. Absolutely phenomenal work. But I was like, okay, that's Tom Hanks, I can tell, but it's a little harder. But his Santa Claus was great. Yeah. His Santa Claus was fantastic. I didn't even know that was Tom Hanks. I thought it was who played V in Metal Gear?
In Metal Gear?
Yeah, who played Venom Snake?
Kiefer Sutherland?
Donald Sutherland. I thought it was Donald Sutherland who played Santa Claus, but it turned out it was Tom Hanks.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening.
I don't watch Christmas movies.
I'm listening to the work, and I'm listening to like the stutters and the pauses and the yells and the inflections. Like looks at the time. I've never been late before, and I'm not gonna get like stuff like that. It's fantastic work. But then you listen to something like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And you just want to slit your own throat.
Yeah, that shit's awful.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
Or
this world.
Resident Evil. Just don't screw it up, Barry.
Yeah.
You
Barry.
Almost a Jill sandwich.
Barry, don't screw it up again.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Barry, where's Barry?
We should talk about that.
Okay.
We have a guy at our work whose name is Barry. He's this adorably nice Asian man.
He's a Yakuza.
He's Chinese, not
Triad.
Japanese. Yeah, he's this adorable. He's
Triad.
so sweet and nice, and he goes out of his way to make sure everyone's.
I've never met a nice triad. So.
he's always going out of his way to like make sure everyone's happy.
He wears bell-bottom pants because he swears they're coming back into fashion. It was the weirdest thing. Is that why are you wearing bell-bottom pants? Like, oh, because they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back. It's like, am I really having a fashion discussion with this triad?
Yeah, his name's Barry, and since he doesn't really, like I said, he's still fairly Chinese, so he doesn't know much about Western culture.
Doesn't speak much. He keeps to himself.
Yeah. So when we do the "Where's Barry" thing from Resident Evil, we go, "Where's Barry? Where's Barry?" And Barry goes, "Hello."
Like, there's Barry. Hi, Barry. And then Barry disappears. Bye, Barry. Where's Barry? And it just continues on like that all day.
Yeah, we're weird.
Well, not all day. Like, I don't have that kind of patience.
We just stand there, just Barry.
Well, I mean, like, the stuff that Castlevania Symphony of the Night was one of the reasons that I got into voice acting.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted to...
What was the main one you talk about? I don't remember.
The main reason I got into voice acting is because of a unnecessary frustration to Scott McNeil.
Who's Scott McNeil again?
The guy who plays the voice of Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Now, I've met Scott. I know Scott. I know Scott. Scott's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. But there's not even a but. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice, really sweet guy. When it comes to his work, I have a bit of a problem with him. And the only problem I really have is that I've heard him for so long, and I've known his body of work for such an extended period of time that I can listen to something on TV or the radio and I go, that's Scott. And that bothers me just because I listen to Scott and I think to myself, I know that voice and I know your groundwork. This is just a slight variation off your groundwork. Because if you take all the characters that Scott McNeil has done, let's just take Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing, and let's just make his career visually a building with several floors above and several basement floors. the ground floor is Scott McNeil at neutral. So that's Duo Maxwell. If you take Duo Maxwell and you make the voice just a little more gruff, that's Koga from Inuyasha. If you take Duo Maxwell and you make it a lot more gruff and maybe a little louder, then you've got Jin Ginningham from Turn A Gundam. If you take Duo Maxwell and you emphasize the accent and increase the pitch, you've got Rat Trap. If you then take Duo Maxwell and you really increase the pitch, move the voice to the back of the throat, and eliminate the accent, you've got... decrease the pitch, you've got Dinobot. If you take Duo Maxwell and you increase the pitch and eliminate the accent, you've got Waspinator. If you take Duo Maxwell and bring it down to Jim Ginningham's level and remove the accent, you've got Piccolo. And that always bugs me because you can always draw it back to, for me, you can always draw it back to the ground level.
You know eventually if you ever get good at voice acting and you become like famous, there's going to be some kid who's going to do the same thing. He always does the same voice.
And I understand, and by all means, make the argument and be better than me.
When I listened to your, Your demo, I knew all of them were you.
Well, of course, because you've known me for...
And we talk all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing.
Yeah.
We do a podcast together now.
Yeah. And again, like, there's only like
See,
5
I'm okay
people.
with that because it's not like... It's not the same voice. There are some of those people who do the one voice, and I don't think...
Nolan North.
I don't think his voice is nice enough to do the same one all the time. I think he should... Like, Keith David is one of those people. I think Keith David's voice, he never has to do a voice ever.
No, he's got one of those voices.
He does do inflections, he does do accents and stuff like that. I don't think he has to. I think Keith David could show up, drop the mic, and go, I'm Keith David. And everyone would go, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Keith David...
If I could pay him, I would get Keith David just to sing me lullabies so I go to sleep.
Would you consider Keith David as Goliath or Keith David as Professor Vasilier from Frog Princess to be his more famous role? One of them is Disney, but the other one is Gargoyles.
Wasn't Gargoyles Disney?
Actually, I think it was, yeah. Is it?
I don't know. No, it's Warner Brothers. No? I don't know. Look it up.
I'll bet you it's Disney.
Wait until I get my fucking tablet. But
let's just compare the two between Gargoyles
to more famous now.
Yes,
Vasilier.
Vasilier.
Most kids and most people, even people who
most
are like
kids, I'll bet you remember Vasilier, but more adults remember Goliath.
Yeah, I still have the VHS board game of Gargoyles.
Oh, that's sick. Did you ever give a shit about Goliath, or were you about Brooklyn all the way? Everyone was either about Brooklyn, Lexington, or Bronx.
I was about Bronx.
You were the dog.
Yeah, I loved him.
The dog was sick.
I still have the toy of Bronx, because I got for my birthday, which was like the most toys I ever got, I got all of them.
See, right now I want to talk about porn for a minute, but we're not going to bother.
And, what? About my birthday?
No.
There's porn about
about Bronx.
And, yeah, so I got all the toys, and I still have, I don't know where the rest of them are, but I still have Bronx, and it's funny because when we were moving, he's in one of my toy boxes, and my girlfriend picks him up, and she goes, oh, who's this? And, oh, it's Bronx from Gargoyles. He was the dog, and they name him. He's really awesome.
He's pretty cool.
And you move his back leg, I think it's his back left leg, and his mouth opens.
Okay.
And she shakes him and goes, what's that noise? Oh, well, that's birthday cake for my 6th birthday. It's just dry in there. She's like, ah! Like, he wanted birthday cake.
Bronx wants birthday cake. What are you going to do when a gargoyle dog says, can I have some birthday cake, please?
You just do it.
You just give him his
birthday cake. You don't ask any questions.
And not only do you don't give it to him in a fork, you just stuff his head in and move his legs so he's actually eating it on his own.
Yeah. Same thing with the Batman animated series. I had Clayface, and I think my sister still has the toy. But it's like when she took it out of storage, she like took it. Oh God, what the hell is that smell? And then it's like, there's food or something in this toy because he's a water gun.
Oh,
like you put you would
it's apple juice.
His arm, you'd fill his arm with water or whatever, and then you'd squeeze his chest and put one of his arms in, like he had a battle mace arm, and then his claw hand.
I remember
it would shoot his hand out, but it was like something was left in him, like juice or something, and then he would put in storage with his hand in. So it's like a decanter of rotting something.
A decanter.
Ooh, I'm gonna take off this mace hand and that's a nice 1998 apple.
No, I remember back when I had my summer home. Ooh, big boy. There used to be a liquidation world just up the street.
Liquidation world.
Liquidation world. The liquidation world still exists?
I think so.
All right.
I don't really go to that stuff.
Well, there was one up the street, and there you'd find all sorts of shit there that you would never expect to see anywhere else. Like I found Primal Rage figurines. I found Primal Rage action figures. So I bought a Talon. I bought an Armageddon. And I don't know where the fuck they are now, but there was also a Blizzard and a Chaos, and I didn't get either of them. There was also a Vertigo. I love Vertigo.
No, but
she's awesome. Yeah, but I would go one summer. My dad went into the liquidation world because you go in there like every week because there's new deals. And over in the freezer section, which is where there's never really a deal, he found boxes of O. Henrys. And I don't mean boxes like a box of 12. I mean like a box carrying 6 boxes of 12.
Yeah.
Like the ones...
A carton.
Like a carton, yeah. A carton of boxes of O. Henrys. And the O. Henrys...
Let's not go too far from this because I have a story about it.
The O. Henrys were expiring within, like, let's say a week. Okay? And the best before thing. And so they were on sale for like as some sort of recovery from the company. They were on sale for like 10 cents a piece. So in order to get like a box of 12, that was only $1.20. And so Dad buys $20 worth of O. Henrys. But he walked out of there with like 18 cases.
Yeah.
Cartons of these boxes of O. Henrys, and he throws them all in the back of the car. And then he takes them home and throws them all inside the freezer. And he's like, this should be able to do it. And then he goes back the next day and he buys 6 or 7 more boxes. Because why the fuck not? They're 10 cents O. Henrys. It'll last a year. They lasted the summer. Because my dad brought home like all 12 cartons of these things and just emptied them all into the freezer. And we would go down there and grab 3 at a time.
God, you're fat.
Yeah, we would just open one, put one in our mouths, in our big gaping maws, then grab 2 more out of the freezer and go upstairs. Then we're like, you know what? It's about time for lunch. We'd go downstairs and grab 3 more. So we're going through like 12 O. Henrys a day. We're going through all 3 family members. My dad was still in my summer home. This was at home. My mom, my sister, and I would go through 12 a box of O. Henrys a day.
God, that's awful. But yeah, talking about Henry's, it's a story that made me laugh really hard when it happened. My friend Brian, his dad was a long haul truck driver.
Okay.
And him and his wife were divorced, so he kind of just they still lived together, but they weren't together. So he essentially just worked overtime constantly.
Okay. Like
all day long as he could work, he would work. So he'd be gone for a couple weeks doing long haul truck driving and just and he's the kind of guy who got paid to sleep.
Okay.
Like those kind of paid 24 hours a day.
Okay.
And so he had...
We're talking like sea to shining sea kind of guy.
Yeah, he had no grasp on dates or time because it was only the schedule that he had and when he had to get there.
It didn't matter otherwise.
Yeah, it was just timing. So he didn't know it was Halloween at all.
Okay.
And he comes home, and he's also, when he's on his 2 days off or 3 days off, he was a gigantic stoner. Like smokes 8 joints in a row.
Wow.
Just goes for it.
Shit.
So his mom...
Even I know you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Brian's mom buys all the candy for Halloween and puts it on the counter. And she goes out, and we're out playing in the complex somewhere. And I remember we just came home. Because I guess he came home, smoked all his joints in the backyard, got the super munchies, and just saw boxes of candy.
Oh my God.
And went, this is a miracle. And just picked them all up And
it's a Christmas miracle.
He just laid on the couch watching a TV and just eating them. Like all these little bite-sized ones. And I guess since he was so stoned and out of it and not knowing what was going on.
He didn't know when to stop.
He didn't know what he was doing. So we walk in and he's passed out. And there's hundreds of wrappers all over the blanket and on the ground and on him. And there's like a chocolate bar on his face. And he's just... and just... Dad? And Brian just... Dad? What? Did you eat all the Halloween candy? He goes... It's Halloween? He goes, yeah, it's Halloween now. Like, there's kids coming. He's, well, just you give them the candy. There is no candy. You ate all of it. And he's just, your mom will get more. And she comes on, she's like, I'm not buying more. Fuck this. Just turn the lights off. He just ate like 8 cartons of like 80.
It's Halloween right now. There are kids on the way. Oh, I guess you just gotta turn the lights off. No candy for anyone.
I don't know why we're talking about Halloween.
Candy for me.
He just goes over to Superstore and just buys more. And just like, for the kids, I'm still high. This is mine.
You drove here high? Yeah, but it's kind of like a come down high. This is what I do when I'm coming down. I'm pretty sure
I have diabetes, so I think I'll be fine.
Is this what you do when you come down? Yeah, when I come down from my high, I go out and buy candy. And then I go home, get re-high, and eat more candy. It's really strange that, like, obviously, like, Christmas is over, and so, like, there's obviously no, like, Halloween candy on the shelves. Yeah. That's already gone, /expired, /gone stale, /thrown away. But I was down getting bread 2 days ago down at the store, and they still have boxes of Halloween chips.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they still have, like, because what are you going to do with those? It's I don't know exactly what the company that owns Doritos, Lay's, Cheetos, and all that other... Frito-Lay, yeah. And, like, they still... Like, there's still purple boxes with...
Bats
with bats and spider webs on them. And I'm like, they're not even on sale! No, because they're just chips. It doesn't matter.
Bad.
Yeah, they don't go bad. They're fine.
That shit blows my mind when that stuff happens.
What?
Which is like... It bugs me when stuff like... Because when I used to work in retail, since I worked in the back, and our friend Brian worked with me at the time, we would get shit, and since I worked a lot in the back, and so did he, it was our responsibility to throw stuff out when it came to being expired. And there was shit...
Did you, like, receive stuff that was expired?
No. It would just go expire on the shelves, because the people whose job it was to put it out sometimes fucked up. And sometimes fucked up catastrophically. So,
to the point where you're selling expired product?
Yeah, and we weren't supposed to be.
Obviously.
And and the things infuriated me when it was like stuff that was not yet expired, but we didn't just give it away. Like I now know that I'm older and why you can't, because there's no tax break and it would cost you money. But there was one where I got infuriated because it was books.
How do books expire?
They don't expire. The publisher, I guess, who owned the books went bankrupt, and they told us, you can't sell them because we don't own the rights to them. You have to throw them out. So we're throwing out, like, a pallet of kids' books, and I'm getting madder and madder as I'm doing it, because I'm like, I just give these to fucking kids. Kids in need, or schools. I was just...
Good guy creep.
It was just pissing me off. And then,
Brian, let's set him on fire now. That might smolder your anger.
Yeah, he probably would have. And the best
one... I haven't
one...
had a dumpster fire at the Zellers in at least 4 years.
There were 3, and in the 10 years that place was open, to the point where the building almost burnt down. Because people were throwing smokes in the compactor.
What a cunt.
Yeah, and so the most notable one for expired food was someone received, I think it was 12 or 13 skids, solid, almost 6 feet tall skids of Planters peanuts. Those individual, I think they're...
Yeah, the little
they're
tins.
Like 800 gram ones.
Yeah, the tin ones.
Yeah. The plastic
like the ones you get at the dollar store.
Yeah, they're shitty tin or something.
Yeah, and they have that little
lids.
Silver lining on the inside you tear off.
Like 13 skids. And they put them in... At the area was the
They
Y's.
put them in dairy. We didn't understand it.
They put it in the Y's. So these were peanuts that no one knew were there. nobody who did the food could see, and everyone forgot about. And then we get to the point where someone spots them and go, oh, there's peanuts up there. So we move all the racking and shit that's in the way and we grab them down and we look at the code and we have to go to this book that tells you the expiration code. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, these have been expired for 7.5 months.
Wow.
So these are awful. So I didn't remember because we had to count them all, how many we were throwing out. And me and Brian...
That must have been like something on the books that you cannot explain.
Yeah.
You can't... there was a slight shipping error.
We were counting them all and we counted a skid and we had to throw it out. So me and Brian made a game of it because we were so fucking bored. For 8-hour shift, we were throwing out peanuts. That's all.
Did you have to open them up and do it, or
no? You just threw them in the compactor, but you had to do it one by one because we had to count each one just in case there was a receiving error. We had to count for every one. So we got to the point where we had the compactor, from the front door of the garbage room to the compactor is about 20 feet.
Okay.
And then in receiving is another 30 feet.
Were you throwing them?
We just got to the point where we're just at the back of receiving, hook shotting them through the door, full throttle whipping them, and they're just exploding on the back, because it's like a chute. Yeah. And just exploding while shooting peanuts everywhere. I just remember it because our supervisor at the time, Liz, came up the back. She heard this out on the floor. I can hear doom 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 as we're whipping these peanuts full throttle instead of just placing them in the garbage because we had to make fun of it. And she came to the back and she said, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Throwing peanuts." And
we're bored.
And she just looked and she's like, "You can't make that shot." And I did it, and I threw it into the thing. She's like, Jesus.
You can't make that shot.
Because that's 45.
Let me show you how a pro does it. And she did that thing where she turns it in her hand and hooks her finger just right. And she did the whole thing where she leans back and lifts her legs straight into the air.
But yeah, she's like, wow, you can actually make that. I'm like, yeah, you just go back, receive, and just arc it. Try to hook it like a frisbee. And she's like, okay, have fun. And she left.
I was like, can I give it a shot?
She did. She wanted to, but she had to go supervise people.
Yeah, I've noticed that when it comes to supervisors and stuff, it's one of the things what I do that I know you can't say it, so I'll say it.
Yeah,
I know I can't tell you. It's we can't tell you that you guys are sucking ass at your job. Fine, I'll do it. You're all sucking ass at your job. Yeah. Pick it up.
I love doing shit like that.
That does sound like fun. I've never.
The other thing I really like to do is walk up to our supervisor, the old one who's now the mid supervisor, and just let him. You need a hug. Yeah, because he's
on the verge.
He doesn't want his job, and then it's just I'm not gonna give it to you though. And he's like, I know we can't. And he just looks through.
Just on the verge.
Just the idea of me wanting to give him a hug. He's just I can do this.
If he believes in me, then I can believe in me.
It just goes about his day.
No, the most fun. I've never had something like that at work because maybe I've never been in. I've only ever been in this kind of profession for my entire life, so I've never had the kind of leniency that you've had when you had at Zeller's.
Yeah.
But one of the jobs that I was working for at the back, we came in every day and we would take over for someone who was already there.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do was get an empty container in order to fill with product because I had to hand bomb product from one side of the room to the other. On one side of the room would be taken off trucks, and then I would have to take it from the floor and put it into other trucks. But I wouldn't do it with a machine. I'd have to do it with carts, and I'd have to do it by hand. So I would get 8 carts, and I would line them up on the inside, all angled into the container, and I would be alone at the back with the lights off, talking to myself. That's where I was working on my voice acting, was in the back of these containers. And so the supervisor would walk by and he would just hear all this yelling and talking and chattering going on in different voices. Who's in there? Mouse! Is that all? Just stop talking to yourself. There's nothing in my contract that says I can't. And so I just kept doing it. And so when new guys would come in, they'd go, "You're with Mouse in there," and they'd go past the container, and they would just hear all these voices going on inside. Is there just how many guys are in there? It says just one. He's talking to himself. So they'd go down. Keep hurting my fucking jaw. But they'd get like halfway down the container because I'd hear them. I'd hear their footsteps down this hollow container. They get halfway down, like, fuck them, and I just kept talking to myself. And then I'd hear them walk away. And on more than one occasion, apparently, they had gone to my supervisor and they said, "I don't want to work with this guy. He scares me. I don't want to work with this guy." And so the supervisor come to me. He said he doesn't want to work with you. Fine, I don't want to work with him. I don't even know him. I don't want to work with him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
I love that.
But that's as close to fun as I ever had.
I had, when I worked at Zeller's, going back to Zeller's, I fucking hated it. But when I went to, I don't think I told this story, but when I went to liquidation, some new guy came in to replace me. His name was Saudi, I think.
Liquidation?
Because Zeller's went, I don't know if they went, they went bankrupt essentially. So I got hired on by the company, I've mentioned this before, where we were to sell all the racking.
Yeah.
So I got hired on by them. So this kid Saudi replaced me. So Brian was training him.
Okay.
How to do my job because I did a lot of shit there. And he was training like just this is how you do this is how you move racking, this is how you do this is what this is and all that crap. So you know the way we all talk to each other. It's awful. We're bad people.
We're bad people.
But so I didn't wear a Zeller's uniform, so he didn't know I used to work there. He didn't know he replaced me. So when me and Brian would walk by, he thought I worked for this liquidation company. He didn't know I was a Zeller's employee for, I think it was, 3 years or something like that. But so when I'd walk by Brian, we would like dead-eye each other and swear and like, "Fuck you, you're gonna die, you piece of shit." And
I'm gonna rape you and you're gonna like it.
And we do that, and every time like we walk by, it is like I'd be doing paperwork in the receiving room, and he'd walk in, and he's like, "Yeah, this is like the garbage room." I'm like, "Yeah, you know where that was, you faggot."
You know where the garbage room is. He like
whips his neck, like, "Fuck you! I hope you die in a fire, you piece of shit." And we just start swearing at each other like angrily because it's just the way we are.
You wouldn't know where the garbage room is. That's where you sleep, you piece of trash.
So we would do that, but like. Because we would laugh about it, but it's more fun to do it deadpan. Like, you know. It's more fun to...
It's way more fun to do it deadpan
when someone
doesn't
know. And
it really is for the entertainment value from other people.
Yeah, so for 3 months or so, this is happening, where he never asked a single question why we hated each other so much. And eventually, they were in the break room having their break, and I was coming out of the bathroom, and I just smacked Brian upside the head.
Oh my god, did you?
And and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And I just whispered in here, "You're gonna die alone," and just left. And Saudi finally broke down, and he's like, "Why do you hate each other so much?" And my friend Mark and like 3 other people who are our friends are all sitting at the table, and they all just start laughing. And he's like, "What?" And Brian starts laughing because he doesn't get it either. He found what I did was funny, and because that's just the way we are. And so he's "What's funny? What am I missing?" And he's like, "What are you talking about? Why do you and Creep hate each other so much? Like you both hit each other and stab each other and swear at each other and say how much you hate each other. Like, what are you talking about? We're best friends." And he's like, "What?" And it's just like, outside this building, we hang out, we play video games, we go and do shit. Like, we're best friends outside here. And, well, why do you? What the hell? Like, he just had like this moment of, "What are you, stupid?" Yeah, kinda.
You should see what we do. If you think that what we're doing in public is rude to one another, you should see us in private. Never have I wished super space aids. If anyone doesn't know what super space aids is, it's essentially what every person who was ever affected by a necromorph in Dead Space has been affected by. We wish
because they never tell you what it's called.
They never tell you what they get affected with, so we just refer to it as super space aids. So we wish super space aids upon one another. We wanted one another to die in a fire made of bees.
The fire is made of bees.
I want to throw them into a pile of bees, except the bees are made of razor blades, and the fire that they're coming out of is made of racism. Oh, for fuck's sake.
We're bad people.
Yeah.
It's okay, though.
It's fine.
Yeah, I just love shit like that. And I just miss being able to do whatever I want.
I've never actually, again, I've never had a situation like that where someone has said, why exactly do you hate one another so much? But he
was a really timid person.
If ever I was asked, I already have the response for them. It's because he wears his underwear backwards. Like, that's it. All the pain and hatred and vitriol and venom that we.
Because then they're just gonna be like, how does he know that?
How does he know that he wears his underwear backwards? He's an asshole. He wears his underwear backwards. I heard he ate a frog once. Some shit like that.
He was just he's the most timid person too, so he didn't understand the way that we are, the way we grew up in the place, like that we're assholes.
No, here's the thing.
Because I remember in the back, when we took down all the signage from Zellers, it's all these pictures of like smiling people and families for like...
This sign is reserved for a very happy person.
When it's like kids wear, it's like pictures of kids, like their arms crossed, looking...
Look at my sweater.
Like looking like Lucio. And like the family area or whatever is like a mom and her kid and all this stuff. But there's this one where it's the picture and it was like menswear. And it's this guy with this shit-eating grin, like looking like John Kretchen on like one side of his face bigger. He's like, hi. And it's like, you know that it's like if he was allowed to talk in that picture, like, hi, my name's Keith. I like to build furniture on there. You fucking asshole. So when we took down all the signs, we brought it to the garbage room. We had a baseball bat. So it was this baseball bat that we used to use to break down cardboard.
Keith's bat.
It was a bat from breaking down cardboard that our receiver brought at one time. We just kept. And so he comes...
Is this our proverbial glass of wine by candlelight?
Yeah. Just empty pop bottles and mic lights.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, so we have the sign up against it's a
big
concrete. Yeah, it's a big sign of this guy. His name's not Keith, but we just made we made a story for him. And just Brian just swinging at his face. Just, fuck you, Keith! And Sadi turns...
What do you get to be happy?
and this kid Sadi turns the corner and just... Come on, it's fun. Do you want to hit the little ginger girl? Just hold up the sign. Come on, it's fun. He's like, oh, okay. And he takes the bat and just like ever so gently.
Did the real Sadi kind of come out that day, or
no?
It's
he just kind of like
deep behind.
Just like tap and it's like punch it. That bat actually, I bought it in the liquidation because everything was for sale. Brian wanted it really bad because it meant a lot to us to be able to beat cardboard. It was a good way to like get rid of your anger at work, where you just go back.
It does sound nice.
When a customer's an asshole, you just go into the back room and beat the cardboard skids to death with a bat. So I bought it, and
how much was it?
Like $1.
Meh.
But I bought it, and
cut your losses.
Brian still has it. I bought it, and then when he came to look for it to buy it, I was like, oh, it's gone. I didn't tell him. So I bought it, and we had the Zellers coins that were for like the shopping carts. They say Zellers on them. I still have one somewhere, but I molded it into the bottom of the handle, and I painted the bat red, like this really like blood red color, and I spray painted 248 into it, which was our store number, and then I gave it a custom handle, and I gave it to Brian on the last day of Zellers, and just like his face of like, I can beat things forever. Like, he was so happy. And I was like, that's all I wanted.
That's pretty good.
And he still has it somewhere.
So it's kind of like I like the idea, like,
I wanted him to have a
zombie
souvenir.
Apocalypse ever come, we gotta go get Brian because he's gonna have his Walking Dead bat.
His Zellers bat.
And we'll get some barbed wire strapped to it and a leather jacket and see if he becomes a man. When he kills his first innocents. Because that's what you do during a zombie apocalypse. You don't kill the bad, you kill the good.
If it's the apocalypse, I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, I will find the survivors and help them. All my morality is going out the window. Just immediately, oh, they have supplies. Bang, bang, bang. Now it's my supplies.
I never understood that. Like, all these zombie apocalypse things, it's never the zombies that everyone is afraid of. It's always the people.
That's why you strike first.
No, but like, why is it always the people are such dickbag? Really?
No, we have another couple minutes because of the fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the idea of...
There's another 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, more than that.
5 minutes.
But it's always the idea of just because, like, when you're in that thing, in most zombie apocalypse, they're always the shamblers or the walkers or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
The runners.
The deadheads in some movies. But they're predictable.
Okay.
If you think about it, it's an uncertain time, and it's something that's predictable. It's a threat, but it's predictable. You know their speed. They can only walk so far. They can hide around corners, but as long as you take your corners wide and everyone gets used to fighting them, like, I want to say The Walking Dead, but I don't like The Walking Dead.
No, I can't.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like they're no longer. The scary thing is other desperate people, because you don't know what they're willing to do. Because, like, in the zombie apocalypse, if it actually happened, I am not a nice person. I would pretend to be nice to get you close, but then bang, bang.
Yeah, and you know that I couldn't do that because I'm a pacifist. But when it comes down,
that's fine. You can tell jokes in my throne room as I drink from people's skulls.
We're gonna make sure that the fucking wine doesn't pour out of their eye sockets. Dumbass.
I love that one.
I'll just be sitting there in a jester costume and you pour it in. Yes, my very first drink from the head of an enemy, and it pours out his eyes. Good job, dumbass.
What was that one?
I am so fucking mad at you right now. What did I do? It's your skull. Fuck you.
What was that one? Or is I want to drink the blood of their skulls, and it's like pours out the eyes and find me an enemy
with no eyes.
And it's like the world is destroyed. We can't find an enemy with no eyes.
Oh no, it was he found worms. They found worm monsters.
Yeah, right.
Like, they have no skulls. So thirsty.
It's like I love that picture of the commander. I think it's from like Warhammer or something, but he's standing on top of the tank with the sword. Just drive it closer so I can hit him with my sword. Bang!
I love those ones where it like zooms in on the one Space Marine's face, the Chaos Space Marine, and it says what is it? It's I say, what's going on? By the Emperor!
I have a picture of a Space Marine. Before I even knew what Warhammer was, I'm not super into it or anything, but some guy's like...
This really hurts.
He's beaten up to fuck, and he's all missing chunks of his armor, and he's like, he looks super badass, and he's standing on like a mountain of these dead aliens, and his gun is smoking. It's just like a picture, right? And it looks super cool, like it's shaded really nice. And he's got his gun out and the chainsaw sword, and his like gun is out of ammo, but it's still smoking, and he's chainsawing with him. He looks so fucking cool. And it just like the capture was, sorry I can't hear you over the sound of how fucking awesome I am right now. I just love that. And I do that to Eric every once in a while when he's like, hey, I'm like, sorry I can't hear over the sound of how awesome I am, and I just drive away.
There's one picture I've got on my computer of an old woman standing beside the massive Chaos Space Marine that they used to have outside of like Games Workshop.
Yeah,
they still do. It's this big. Well, Games Workshop isn't there anymore.
No, but they're the one.
Yeah, the big red one. And the old woman is standing beside me. Goes, "Okay, Ethel, you're on point."
Got it.
But going back to like the zombie apocalypse, like, why is it that man, like, I'm fairly certain that if we all banded together, we could defeat stumbling zombies. All you have to do is like attack and then back up.
Or what you do is you just get a chain link fence, put it between you and them, and put a spear on a stick. Like a knife on a stick.
Now hold on. This is sounding very Metal Gear Crystal.
Metal Gear Crystal Unicorn.
Metal Gear Crystal Unicorn.
That's also in Walking Dead and
Crystal Unicorn zombies.
No, the chain link fence stabbing them in the eye.
Because I'd fucking watch that shit if.
No, I don't care about that because everyone makes the. Oh, we've talked about that before. I don't like Walking Dead because everyone makes the worst decisions ever. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly think we could all band together and do it. Like, that's a war I think we could win. Not like Planet of the Apes, because I don't think we can win against chimpanzees and gorillas. That movie pissed me off. I don't want to go too far into it.
Planet of the Apes?
The remake.
Which one?
The remake with James Franco. The first
Okay,
one.
so the second one.
Because I'm sorry.
Second one had Mark. First one had Mark fucking Wahlberg.
The first no.
Yeah, when he went.
The newest remake.
Okay.
There's the one with James Franco, then there's the second one, now there's the third one coming out. It's War of the Planet of the Apes.
I was about to mention that when I went to see Assassin's Creed last night, they had the preview for that. And I'm sitting there and I looked to my wife and why? Who asked for this? Who thought we need a sequel to this?
But I had such a problem with the first one. Not because of the science or anything, because I don't know about biology, so I'm not going to judge it. Just the fact that there are not that many gorillas in San Francisco, I'm sorry to fucking tell you. There's like 8 gorillas pushing over a bus. I'm like, where did you get them? The San Francisco Zoo is just like, where did we get all these gorillas? And some guys like fucked up on the paperwork, and there's like 80 gorillas and like 600 chimpanzees.
No, see, the paperwork says here specifically 3 giraffes, 1 rhino, 18 penguins, 25 birds, and a hippopotamus. You sent us 80 fucking monkeys. Like, I'm like, how did you fuck that? How did you look at that? Double time.
Yeah. 80 monkeys and 80 chimpanzees and 47 gorillas. Where did you even get that many gorillas? I don't even know.
I didn't even know there was that many. When you said gorillas, like I know there's plural, so I'm assuming there's at least 2. And what they do is they mate, and then they don't have a kid, but like the woman goes over to one side of the forest and the man goes to the other, and they just kind of multiply like starfish. Okay.
Chop off its arm and it grows into a gorilla.
Right. Oh, that's good.
I don't know where we are.
Okay. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
We've got to be able to at least go 3 deep. Planet of the Apes, zombie apocalypse. Zellers? Baseball bat to Zellers.
Yeah.
Zellers having fun at work. Work. Releasing stress.
It came up with talking about people hating jokes. No, people. No.
Come on, we got one more.
Why did I go to talking about me and Brian yelling at each other while Saudi got uncomfortable? Because that's where I started. I got nothing.
I can't remember what we were talking about.
Who cares? Let's go.
Oh, well. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Mouse.
And I'm Creep.
We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.